All right, so this is a video of me going over the volume practice problems. I just printed up the second chance one because they are the same questions. So if you listen to this video, you should have all the right answers to go back and get 100 on the second chance. I do have the answers here in front of me so I don't accidentally give you any wrong answers. So we'll be checking them as we go along. And I will be using the Apple calculator on my iPad. So hopefully you all have access to something like that. All right, so let's get started. Question number 1 gives you a right rectangular prism, and then it asks you what the volume is. So if you watch the videos that I gave you for day 1, before this, you were supposed to take this first chance of the volume practice. You learned that volume was the area of the base times the height. Now in another grade, you might have learned volume equals length times width times height. These are the same thing. This part right here just helps you to find the volume of things that aren't right rectangular prisms, which this is a right rectangular prism. So the base, theoretically, is the part on the table, right? So that would be 11 times 13 and a half. Okay, so I'm gonna, since I'm using a calculator, I'm gonna do 11 times 13.5. Let's see. And I get 148.5. Okay, then I gotta multiply it by the height, which this is the height, so it looks like 5. So 148.5 times 5, oops, is 742.5. And this would be inches cubed, because I did inches times inches times inches. So that's inches cubed. So I'm going to look over at my answers over here, and there aren't any decimals, but I know that 0.5 is a half. So the answer should be D, and I'm checking, and the answer is D. All right, so we got the first one right. All right, let's look at number 2. A cube, so we got to talk about what a cube is, has an edge length of 2/3 inch. What is the volume of the cube? So a cube is a right rectangular prism, but it's special because all the faces are squares. So once we know that an edge is 2/3, we know that this is 2/3, and this is 2/3, and this is 2/3. Length times width times height. 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. So if you watch the video on how to multiply fractions, he actually did one like this. With 3 fractions, and we just multiply straight across. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 9 is 27, and it's going to be inches cubed. That's what I got, so let's come over here and take a look at the answers. So it looks like it's D. Let me check. It is D. All right, 2 down, 12 to go. All right. A rectangular fish tank. It's always a good idea to draw these, I think. A rectangular fish tank is 12.5 deep, so that's up and down, inches, 16.25 inches wide, so 16.25 inches wide and 8 inches long. So length, well, width, length, height. All right, so we have to multiply all those together. We have to do, let's do the bottom, the base. I am not really good at drawing things 3D, but we're gonna figure out this first. So 16.25 times 8. Now I know that a fourth is 0.25, and I'm gonna show you how I know that. 4 goes into 10 twice. 4 goes into 25. So I'm going to do 16.25 times 8. This is going to give us the area of the base. Okay, 16.25 times 8. 16.25 times 8 is 130. So the area of the base is 130. All right, so that's these two. Got these two taken care of. Now I have the height is 12.5. Okay, so 130 times 12.5 is 1,625. 1,625 inches cubed, because I did inches times inches times inches. So let's look over at our answers. We have 1,625 inches cubed, and it is D. All right, so hopefully everybody's doing okay on these so far and writing down the answer so you can take it again if you didn't do okay the first time. Okay, a fruit company ships boxes of apples and pears in a crate that measures 15.5 by 18.5 by 24 inches. The apple box measures 15 inches by 15 inches by 10.5 inches. The pear box measures 12 inches by 12 inches by 12.5 inches. If one box of each fruit is placed in the crate, what part of the crate is not filled with fruit? So this is a really sneaky way of making you find 3 different volumes. So we're going to have the crate volume minus the apple box volume minus the pear box volume is going to give us our answer because it wants to know not filled with fruit. Okay, so for the crate box, we're going to do 15.5 times 18.5 times 24. And that's all inches, inches, inches. Let's do that one first. Okay, so we got 15.5 times 18.5 times 24. 6,882. Now I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that that is one of the answers, but we know it's not the final answer because we haven't subtracted those two things yet. Okay, now the apple box is 15 times 15 times 10.5. 15 times 15 times 10.5. 2362.5. Minus 2362.5 inches cubed. And then the pear box is 12 times 12 times 12.5. 12 times 12 times 12.5. 1,800. And I'd like to also point out that 1,800 is one of the answers, but that's not the final answer, right? All right, so we need to do 6,882 minus 2,362 minus 1,800, and that should give us our answer. So let's see. Oops. 6,882 minus 6,882 minus 2,362.5 minus 1,800. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. 6,882 minus 2,362.5. So that is 4,519.5. Now I'm going to subtract the 1,800, 2,719.5. Inches cubed. So that means it should be C, and the answer is C. We got that one right. Okay, let's look at number 5. Mr. Carter's print shop ships packs of paper in a box that is 30 by 30 by 20. Each pack of paper measures 8.5 by 11 by 15. There are 12 packs of paper in each box and bubble wrap in the remaining space. How much space contains bubble wrap? All right, so this is a little bit like the one we just did. So we've got the larger box, which is 30 times 30 times 20. So This is the box. Minus 12 of the paper packs that are 8.5 times 11 times 15. And then whatever is left when we subtract this from this is going to be the bubble wrap. All right, so let's do 30 times 30 times 20. Which is 18,000 inches cubed. Then we need 8.5 times 11 times 15. Okay, so that is, let me try this again. 8.5 times 11 times 15. Oop, blah. I hate these Apple calculators, I gotta say. I don't trust them that much. 8.5 times 11 times 15. All right. And you'll notice that this is one of the answers. And you'll notice that this is one of the answers. Now, at this point, without doing too much more math, we should know what the answer is because we have 12 of these. But I've got a theory. So this is for one of them. I'm guessing that 18,000 minus 1402.5, well, it's something around there, but that's only one of them. So what we need to do is 1402.5 times 12. And we get this number, but that is not the answer. So the answer must be D. And maybe this, actually going over this question will help you realize where they come up with some of the other answers that aren't right. They just use other numbers that come up along the way in the question, hoping that you will stop, because they're always trying to trick you. So number 5 is D. We got that one right. All right, let's move on to number 6. What is the volume of a right rectangular box with a width of 2 2/3 inches, a length of 2 1/3 inches, and a height of 1/3 of an inch? So we have a rectangular box. We have a width of 2 2/3. We have a height of 1/3, and we have a length of 2 1/3. Okay, so we have to do length times width times height, or area of the base times the height. So let's do, just to get you used to this, because it's going to help you later, times the height. So the area of the base is 2 2/3 times 2 1/3. Now I can't do this as mixed numbers. I have to turn them into improper fractions. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So I have 56 ninths. Then I'm going to multiply it by the height, times 1/3. So I get 56 27ths. So let's look over at our answers here. So how many times does 27 go into 56? So I'm going to do 56 minus 27. And I get, not feeling that good about this answer here. Oh, so I need 2. I need 2 of those. 2 and 2 27ths. And that's right here. And let me check the answer. 6 is B. We got it right. Okay. Let's do number 7. A packaging company sells 4 sizes of rectangular boxes. The table below shows the dimension of each box. Which box holds the least amount of material? So this is a really, mean way of making you do 4 volume questions. So let's take a look. we're just gonna multiply these straight across, and if you wanna use a calculator a little more easily, if you have memorized that 1/4 is 0.25, that's very helpful. This one, we have 2 times 2.5 times 2.5. This is 0.25. 2 times 4.25 times 2, and this is 2.5 times 3 times 3. All right, so we have 2.25 times 2 times 3. 2.25 times 2 times 3. 13.5. We have 2 times 2.5 times 2.5. It's 12.5. We have 2 times 4.25 times 2, which is 17. And then we have 2.5 times 3 times 3, which is 22.5. So what we're looking for is the least. So that should be the least. This is box X. Let me check the answers. 7 is B. All right, so far so good. All right, number 8. The interior of a rectangular shaped box has a width of 5 inches, a length of 7.5 inches, and a height of 7.5 inches. Width of 5 inches, length of 7.5, and height of 7.5. Tom is putting cubes inside the box. Each cube has sides that measure 1 1/4 inch. So that's going to be all of those. I guess that's way too small. But anyway, what is the maximum number of cubes Tom can fit in the box? So we're going to find out the volume of both of these, and then we're going to divide. All right, so I'm going to do 7.5 times 7.5 times 5. 7.5 times 7.5 times 5. 281.25. And you'll notice that's one of the answers, but that would be the wrong answer. Now we're going to do 1.25 times 1.25 times 1.25. Oop. 1.25 times 1.25 times 1.25. That's a nice feature down there. That doesn't really look right to me, but I don't know where that 9 came from. Okay, 1.25 times 1.25 times 1.25. All right. Okay, so we're going to divide 281.25 divided by 1.953125. 281.25 divided by 1.953125. 144 even. Let's see if that's the right answer. 8 is A. Okay. A candle factory packs a large rectangular shipping box with smaller boxes of candles. The interior of the large shipping box has a width of 3.5 feet, a length of 4 feet, and a height of 2 feet. The smaller boxes have a width of 6, a length of 9, and a height of 1. What is the maximum number of smaller boxes that will fit in the larger box? So that's just like number 8. So we're going to do 3.5 times 4 times 2 divided by 6. Ooh, these are feet. Gotta change that first. So how do we turn feet into inches? We multiply by 12. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3.1 times 12 sorry, 3.5 times 12. 3.5 times 12 is 42 inches. 4 times 12 is 48 inches, and 2 times 12 is 24 inches. All right, so now we should be able to do this. So we're going to do 42 times 48 times 24 divided by 6 times 9 times 12, because you'll notice that's a foot. All right, so let's see what we got here. 42 times 48 times 24 is 48,384 divided by 6 times 9 times 12, 648. Okay, 48384 divided by 648. Okay, so this is, we cannot fit 75 boxes in there because this is 74.6. So the tricky test makers are hoping you're just going to round up and pick D for 75. But of the choices you have been given, because we're always looking for the best possible answer, the answer is C, which is correct. All right, the interior of a box in the shape of a rectangular prism has a width of 5 inches, a length of 6.5 inches, and a height of 4.5 inches. Maggie put cubes with edge lengths of 1.5 inches into the box. What is the maximum number of cubes Maggie can put inside? Okay, so this is a lot like these other two. So we're going to have 6.5 times 4.5 times 5 divided by 1.5 cubed. I guess I don't really need those parentheses. 1.5 cubed. All right, so first of all, 1.5 cubed. 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5 is 3.375. I'm going to do 0.5s for those halves. 6.5 times 4.5 times 5 is 146.25. And I'm going to divide this number by that number. Okay. I got 43.33 repeating. So the best possible answer says A. But you could put 43 in there. Let me make sure. Let me go back. Okay. So 6.5, 4.5, and 5. 6.5 times 4.5 times 5. 146.25. 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5 is 3.375. 146.25 divided by 75. I don't know. I kind of disagree with this answer. Because this says this goes in here 43.33 times, which means 43 would work. But I'm looking at the answer, and it says A. So I think it's B. Every once in a while, these questions are wrong. So if you want to get 100 on your quiz, put an A in there, okay? But the answer is really B. All right, 11. A right rectangular prism has a height of 7 5/6 meters, a width of 1 1/3 meter, and a length of 36 meters. What is the volume? So this is just one. We just have to do one. So 7 5/6 times 1 1/3 times 36. All right, so I'm going to do 7 times 6 is 42 plus 5 is 47/6 times 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4/3 times 36 over 1. And that's basically doing this, but in fractions. Now, some of you may or may not be comfortable with this, but there's a lot of ways we can cross-simplify this. So these can be cross-simplified if you turn this into a 1 and this into a 12, because 3 times 12 is 36. And these can be simplified. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so we have 3 times 1 times 1 is 3. And then I'm going to have to use a calculator for this one. 47 times 2 times 12 is 1,128. And then every fraction is a division problem, so I'm going to divide that by 3. And this is 376 meters cubed. Let's see if that's what the answer is. On the answer key, yes. This one is B. You can answer that one B safely. All right, just 2 more. We have a shipping container has a length of 8 1/3 meters, a width of 4 meters, and a height of 4 1/2 meters. A concrete block has a length of 3/4 meters, a width of 2/5 meters, and a height of 1/10 meters. What is the maximum number of concrete blocks that will fit inside the shipping container? All right, and it's all in meters. Check all the words, meters, meters, all meters. So it's 8 1/3 times 4. I'm going to use these dots instead of x's since we're using variables more now. So that's the volume of the big one divided by the volume of the concrete blocks. Okay, so 3/4 times 2/5 times 1/10. All right, so 24 plus 1 is 25/3 times 4/1 times 8 9/2. Okay, so I can do this. I could do this. This diagonal. All right, so I have 25 times 2 is 50 times 3 is 150 over 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. All right, so right here I have 2, 1. And that looks like all we can do. 3 times 1 times 1 is 3. 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 times 10 is 100. All right, so now we have this problem. This is division, so keep, change, flip. So now we have 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, divided by 3 is 5,000 blocks. That's what I got. Let me check the answers. 12 is, uh-oh, something went wrong. Maybe. All right, let me look. 8 1/3 times 4 times 4 1/2. Let me do it on a calculator just to be... I'm wondering if it was this cross multiplication I did right here. 8.3 times 4 times 4.5 is 149. Okay. This one we could definitely do. 3 times 1 times 1 is 3. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. All right, this is what I think happened. This is what you get if you do all this with fractions. If you actually do this on a calculator with 8 1/3, you're going to get 149.4 here instead of 150, which is just enough of a problem that it makes the final answer 4,980. And so 5,000 wouldn't fit. But, all right, this is another weird one. If you want to get the answer right on your SchoolNet thing, put B. But if you actually did it this way, which is really the skill that they're trying to teach you is to do everything with fractions, the answer would be A. So put this one in, but the answer is really A. Okay. Kiara is packing cube-shaped boxes into a rectangular box. The cube-shaped boxes have edges that measure 2/3 inch, And the rectangular box measures 8 2/3 inches by 6 inches by 3 1/3 inches. So keep in mind, we got these thirds here, which is what messed us up on number, well, we got the right answer on number 12, but they did it weirdly for their own answer. How many cube-shaped boxes will fit in the rectangular box? So the first thing we have to do is 8 2/3 times 6 times 3 1/3. So 24 plus 2 is 26 thirds times 6 over 1 times 10 over 3. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1, 10. Okay, so we can do this. And that looks like about it. So we've got 26 times 2 times 10. It's 520. 1 times 1 times 3 is 3. And let's just leave it like that for right now. Then we're going to divide this by 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 because it's a cube. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 8 27ths. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. Okay, so keep, change, flip, 1, 9. I'll just leave those the same. We could simplify that, but yeah. All right, so 520 times 9 is 4,680 divided by 8, 585. Okay, let's check the answer. So I'm thinking it's D. 13 is D. We got that one right. And we did it the same way we did this one. Just that, for whatever reason, whoever wrote that question did something weird. All right, last one. A small juice box is shown. About how many cubic centimeters of juice will the box hold? So this is just volume equals length times width times height. So 3.5 times 6 times 9. 3.5 times 6 times 9. We get 189. It says about. So the answer is C, because 200 is the closest to 189. All right, so now that you have all the correct answers to put into SchoolNet to get 100, go back to Canvas, find the code for the volume second chance, and get 100. Thanks a lot. Bye.